Hello, so welcome to a follow-on video from this morning's video, and yeah, I've become a bit obsessed with this whole idea of suggesting trilogies based around genres. So as a consequence, I played around with it a bit more, and so I thought I might as well document what happened. So this time round I'm sticking with the concept of trilogies, but I'm going to wipe between some of the sessions, and I'm not going to have any preamble either, so none of the "you are an expert in musicology" type things which I did in the video earlier. So let's just press on and ask it the first thing. So if I was looking for 5 albums to get me into epic doom metal, what would you suggest? So it'd be interesting. I haven't specifically told it to create a bulleted list or anything like that, so I just want to see what happens. So we've got a little bit of what I call rationalization, where it's I suppose orientating itself on doom metal. And there we go, there's 5 album recommendations. Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus by Candlemass, Born Too Late by St. Vitus, Gothic by Paradise Lost, Close by Mesa, and Return to the Void by Shape of Despair. Now, that's interesting because the next one I picked, as luck would have it, is actually one of the albums on there. But at this point, this is where I was going to wipe its memory anyway. So let's do that. So I was looking for 5 albums to get me into the same style of music as heard on Gothic by Paradise Lost. What would you suggest? Now let's see where it comes down here, because it might identify as doom, it might identify as gothic, metal. Let's see. So it's gone. Yeah, it's gone with the whole death doom thing. So we have 2 My Dying Bride albums: Anathema, Catatonia, and Paradise Lost. Okay, so now I'm not going to wipe it because I want to ask a couple of follow-up questions. For each of the bands mentioned previously, can you suggest a trilogy of their albums? Now, of course, it's got My Dying Bride twice, so let's see how it deals with that. So that's good. It spotted that it did list My Dying Bride twice, so it didn't do 2 lists. I'm gonna see if by wording it slightly differently I get different results. I don't know if I will, because yeah, it depends on how it interprets it. Let me show you what I'm going to ask it. Ask it. For each of the bands mentioned previously, can you suggest 2 follow-on albums by the bands? Now, has it followed on from those? Yes, it has. Think. Judgment. Yep. Fair deal down. Yep. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is wipe again. Ask it the same first question. So obviously context, not surprisingly, is everything. But yeah, it's interesting again to just how you stack prompts after you've prompted it for something else. So we asked it previously for suggestions for a trilogy and then 2 follow-on albums by the bands. So we ended up with 5 suggestions. Again, it's suggested My Dying Bride twice. This time I'm just going to ask it a question about follow-on albums. See how it interprets that. Okay, and again it's picked up that it listed My Dying Bride twice, but it did suggest the album again. So yeah, it was always interesting to see how it deals with potential duplications. So the last one is this one, which is a little bit more in some ways complicated. Again, you see I've wiped it there. Using a music genre picked at random as an exemplar of a genre. Suggest a trilogy of albums from each of the 5 bands. From each of 5 bands that share that genre. And as you've seen in previous videos, one thing you can do is slightly reword this if it doesn't list what the random album is. Okay, Ready to Die by the Notorious B.I.G. So this time round, okay, it didn't really follow my instructions. Maybe I need to word it a little better. So I need to work on that prompt. And I tend to do that rather than blame Bing Chat. I work on the principle of charity. So I assume my prompt isn't as good as it could have been. Let me just recheck that, see if I can fix it now. Using a music album picked at random as an exemplar of a genre, suggest a trilogy of albums from each of 5 bands that share that genre. Let me take that out. It might be better to have pick a music album at random from an exemplar of a genre. What is that album? And then get it to suggest maybe something like that. So this time, notice that it didn't go through that, however you want to think of it, like the thought process, but we now have rather nicely arranged 3 albums under each artist. So now, of course, I could have just tried the same thing again. So if I was to try this unedited, the one I tried earlier, which didn't quite come out the same, see what happens. See if it was just a one-off. It's wanting to use the random. Okay. That's a little bit better. It's done exactly what I wanted it to do. So there we have it. Hopefully that was an interesting follow-on from the earlier video and built out a little bit more with this album suggestion stroke trilogy concept, and also made you think a little bit more about, you know, modifying prompts to make it a bit clearer for Bing Chat to get the job done. Thanks for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next video.